Okay, so I wanted to post an update clip regarding the issues that I have with my Rex Ambassador razor. So if you recall from the previous two clips, one issue is this thread adjustment at the bottom that often gets stuck. And the other issue was this adjustment dial here. At least on my razor, it's only smooth between the settings 1 to 5. And that above setting 5, it's no longer smooth, and it's like there's some tactile hump at the number 5, which makes the adjustment dial less smooth. I don't know why that happens. One interesting point that I didn't raise in the previous two clips is my adjustment dial. If you look at that red dot there, it actually begins below 1, so I don't know whether you'd call that 0 or 0.5. I know other users report that's the case. Other users actually report their adjustment dial begins at 1, so I don't know what is correct and what is not correct. In any case, there were three things I wanted to talk about in this video. One was my posting regarding the issues I have with my Rex Ambassador razor on the Badger Blade forum. The second point was my dealings with Beard and Blade, which is where I actually purchased my Rex Ambassador razor from, and their insistence that my razor isn't faulty. And the last point that I wanted to go through was just show a comparison of some of my other two-piece razors and just show that these issues, or at least this issue here, where you dial the bottom thread, is not present on any of my other two-piece razors. So firstly, I posted on the Badger and Blade forum regarding the issues I was having with my Rex Ambassador razor, and sure enough, a number of other individuals came forward and said, yep, I've had the exact same issues with my razor. I think one person said they returned theirs to the Rex company, which is really Razor Emporium, and they received their razor in the same condition. I think another individual said they had to return their razor 3 times or something like that. I bring this up because this thread on the Badger Blade forum was for some reason deleted after a couple of days, and it was deleted without warning, and it was deleted without any explanation. So that's a little bit disappointing because my post on there wasn't an attack on the Rex Ambassador razor. It was simply a question, are there any other users out there that have similar issues with their Rex Ambassador razor to the issues that I have with my razor? And sure enough, there were other individuals. Okay, on to the second point. So this is regarding my dealings with the Beard and Blade outlet, which is where I actually purchased my Rex Ambassador razor from, and I actually showed them the videos, and when they first saw the videos they said, yeah, that doesn't look quite right, send your razor in, we've got a number of N4s here, we'll be happy to send an N4 out to you. And I thought, great, that's pretty positive, that sounds pretty good. As soon as they received my Rex Ambassador razor, their tune changed and they said, oh look, it doesn't appear to be faulty. So I just want to quote their responses to the two issues that I have with my Rex Ambassador razor. So they say, regarding issue 1, the thread on the bottom, they say the stuck effect occurs when the thread is not aligned correctly as it's being tightened. Being a captive nut, there is some slack allowed so that the bottom dial can turn freely and also move up and down the internal shaft without rubbing. This slack also means that the nut won't always be perfectly aligned with the thread it's tightening onto when fastening the nut. They also say this can occur with all two-piece razors, including even the Merkur 34C. Well, it definitely doesn't occur with my Merkur 34C, and I'll show that shortly. Regarding the second issue here, of the adjustment dial, they say, and I quote, "In your video, you showed the dial indicator being turned past the number 6 marking. In fact, the number 6 marking is the max amount it should be turned. Turning the dial past this marking provides a tactile hump which is intended to help prevent turning past the max point. In my testing, the adjustment dial otherwise turns freely as it should do." Well, they clearly missed what I actually demonstrated in that second video clip, which was with my Rex Ambassador razor, that adjustment dial is only smooth between settings 1 to 5. After setting 5, it is no longer smooth, and you can see that quite clearly in the video I posted. Now, what they actually suggest for the issue here with the bottom thread, whatever you want to call it, is they say do the following. If it's stuck, let's see, yep, stuck, you push forward while turning backwards until you hear a click. So let's see if that happens. Push forward, I turn back. Okay, it didn't happen that time. It's still stuck. Let's try it again. So I'll push forward while turning that dial backwards and I should hear a click. And when I do that, it should be okay. Let's see. So there was the click. I move forward and sure enough, I can turn that bottom thread. So obviously that wasn't the first time I've done that. I've done it a number of times, and yep, that solution actually works, I'd say about 8 or 9 times out of 10. Now, whether you reckon that is an adequate solution for a $250 razor, that's another matter. Okay, and the third point I wanted to bring up or demonstrate in this video is whether any of my other two-piece razors exhibit this issue. Stuck. Let's try the solution that the Beard and Blade company suggested. Turn back, push forward. There's the click, and then I can turn it. Okay, so let's see whether this issue occurs with any of my other two-piece razors. Okay, so here is my trusty Merkur 34C. So it's a gold version of that razor, but it's still a 34C. Let's see whether there's any issues with that bottom thread. So there it is, top cap on, turn this thread, no issues whatsoever. Next up we have a Merkur Progress, so this is the short handle version. Let's see what happens here. No issues turning that bottom thread. Okay, next up we have a long handle version of the Merkur Progress. Let's have a look at this one. Again, no issues with that bottom thread, and that adjustment dial turns smoothly, no issues. And on my one, let's see if I can get this correct, it aligns, that dot aligns with that positive sign. Okay, next up we have a Merkur slant. I think this is the 37C. Again, two-piece razor. Let's see what happens. No issues. Okay, so next up is another Merkur slant razor. This is the long handle version, so the 39C. Let's have a look. Again, no issues with that bottom thread. Next up, for a change, we have a Parker variant. Again, a two-piece razor. Let's see what happens with this one. Turn that bottom thread, no issue. And that adjustment dial, nice and smooth. And let's see where my one begins. So that dot lines up with that positive sign. Next up we have another Merkur two-piece razor. This is not a slant, it's just a normal straight bar razor. So I think this one is a 38C. Let's see what happens. Again, no issue. Here is another Merkur two-piece razor. I forget the model number on this one, but it's the open comb version of the 38C. Let's have a look. Turn that thread, no issue whatsoever. Turns perfectly. Okay, and the last two-piece razor is another Merkur razor. This is the Futur or the Future or however it's pronounced. Maybe not a fair comparison because it doesn't operate like all the other two-piece razors I've demonstrated. But I just want to show that this adjustment dial is nice and smooth and there's no issues with it whatsoever. Okay, back to my Rex Ambassador razor. Let's have a look at this one again. Stuck, stuck, stuck. Let's try that trick. Push forward while turning backwards until you hear a click. There it is, and sure enough, you can then tighten it. So whether that solution is adequate for a $250 razor, well, I don't think it's adequate, especially when the other razors I demonstrated are about $50 and work flawlessly.